Hello everyone, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today's video is part of the Marathon Society and we are making the Lauren bag from Lauren Mormino. Thank you so much to Lauren for allowing us to film the Lauren bag in today's marathon. Also, she's the reason we do the marathons. It is because of her. She started out doing marathons, I believe, for New Year's, sewing another pattern. So thank you so much to Lauren. All right, so the Lauren bag is a big tote. It's basically a super large pouch. Okay, it is like a blank canvas. You can do anything with this. You can do an embroidery file like I did here, and I will try to remember to leave the link to this file down below. I got it from Etsy. All I did was search Fourth Wing embroidery designs, and I believe this was right at the top. It came out really well. I love how it came out. But anyway, I'll try to remember to link that down below. You can quilt something, you can do anything here. It's a huge area to do whatever it is that you want. So this is the front, and then I have the back. There's nothing here except for my tag. You could add a zipper here if you wanted to, with a zipper overlay. And then here we have the top. It's just one zipper with zipper tabs. You could do a 90-degree angle if you prefer. So when you open it, there is a zipper pocket here with a zipper overlay. And you can make cargo pockets in here. You can do slip pockets in here. You can do another side of zipper pockets if you want. It's totally up to you. You can do whatever you wish for your Lauren bag. So I did mine pretty simple and I'm really happy with it. I love how it looks. The vinyl is from Lauren Mormino, and also my I believe it's water resistant canvas is also from Lauren Mormino's website, which is mormino.com. I'll make sure to leave the link down below. All right, guys, so the Marathon Society link will be in the description below, so you can see anyone from before and you can watch anyone from afterwards. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this video and continue on with our marathon of the Lauren bag. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the pattern pieces. For the exterior, you will need 2 pieces. So I've got the front. I did this embroidery file. I got this from Etsy. I will try to remember to link this file down, or the link to the file in the description below. But like I said, if I forget, it's from Etsy. I just looked up Fourth Wing embroidery designs, and it was one of the top to choose from. And then this is the second piece. I went ahead and put on my label. This is cork. It is from the Heartwood and Hide. They are amazing. Highly recommend getting your tags done from them if you need some. I'm not sure if they still have a wait list or not, but they're totally worth the wait if there is. You'll need handles if you do want to make handles, which I guess you could add crossbody straps to this bag if you wanted to, but I chose to do the medium size handles. So I've got 2 of those already pre-made. I will be using rectangle rings to attach the handle connectors. So if you're doing it that way, you'll need 4 of these. I went ahead and prepared 3 of them, and I'll go ahead and do the 4th one on camera. There are other options for attaching your handles if you prefer to do something different. That's totally up to you. And that's it for the handles, I believe. Next, we've got our zipper. So you'll have zipper tabs, so you'll need 2 pieces. And then I've got my zipper. The length of the zipper is listed in the pattern. And I went ahead and attached my zipper pull. Make sure not to forget to do that. I'm sure every one of us has done that before. I know I've done it a number of times. And then you've got your base. Here I've got some Decoville light attached. And then for the interior, I'm going to be doing the zipper pocket. This bag will be pulled through the zipper pocket. I've got an overlay. I did make mine a little bit bigger than it says in the pattern, so I did make the measurement changes for the zipper and also for my lining pieces for that pocket. And then I've got my zipper pull. And then I'm going to place this really fun woven label underneath this zipper overlay. I believe this came in one of the Sewing Blurbs subscription boxes. All right, and then we've got my lining pieces for that pocket. And then we've got 2 lining pieces. Now in the pattern, when you're cutting these out, make sure that you pay attention to your pattern pieces because they are different. You've got one piece that is shorter on the bottom and then the other piece is longer on the bottom. It is meant to be that way. So make sure that you are paying attention to the cut lists when you're cutting all of your materials out. And that's it for this one. You could add a cargo pocket or a slip pocket. You could add another zip pocket if you wanted. You could do anything you want to this bag. It's like a blank canvas. If you want to do anything different to it, go for it. Whatever you'd like to do, you can do it. All right, so I think that is it for all the pattern pieces. Let's go ahead and get to sewing. All right, so I have prepared the 3 of my handle connectors. So I will show you how to do this other one. So again, I'm using the rectangle rings. The black hardware, I believe I got this from Swag, and I did notice that Zipper Valley also has black hardware. Now, actually, I take that back. I don't know if it's hardware they sell that's black, but I do know that they started carrying black zippers and black zipper pulls. So if you're in the market for some black hardware, check out Zipper Valley as well. They're usually pretty quick with the shipping. All right, so I've got my piece here. On the back side, I went ahead and made the center mark. And I placed the double-sided tape, so I just removed the paper. I'm going to take that raw edge and I'm going to bring it to meet that center line. And then we'll do that on the other side, bring that raw edge to the center. All right, like that. So now I'm going to grab some double-sided tape. I'm going to place double-sided tape right where those raw edges meet, and we're going to put our rectangle ring onto the handle connector. I'm going to remove the paper from the double-sided tape. You want to make sure that your double-sided tape is not touching the hardware. It won't be able to move if you have it stuck on the tape. So I did move it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just eyeballing this. I'm going to fold this over. It's not really the center. You could do the center if you wanted, but there's a little bit more on one side. Well, I guess it looks kind of even. But that's what you want to do. You want to have it together like this. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a clip to hold that in place, and that's all you need to do for these. And we'll go ahead and get these connected to our exterior. If you are going to add rivets to your handle connectors, you want to make sure that you're not placing those rivets in the center where those raw edges meet. You want to make sure that they're in between where those raw edges meet. So now we're going to go ahead and attach our handle connectors on our exteriors. There are measurements in the pattern on where to place your connectors. I will not be showing those measurements, so I will go ahead and do that off of camera. But basically, I'm going to take some double-sided tape and place it on the back of this, and then I'll place it at the measurement. And then I'm going to sew a box around the connectors to put them in place. I haven't decided if I'm going to use rivets or not. I think I might, I don't know, but I will go ahead and place these on the exterior off camera. All right, so I finished the strap connectors. I did go ahead and add some rivets. It looks really good. And then there's the back. There we go. All right, so next we'll go on to the next step. I think it's gonna be adding the zipper tabs to the zipper for the exterior of the bag. You can do the 90-degree angle on one end if you like, and then add a zipper tab on the opposite end. But I'm going to be adding the zipper tabs to both ends of my zipper. All right, so I have my zipper. The measurements for the zipper is in the pattern. I've already installed the zipper pull, so make sure you don't forget that. I will be, my tabs are a little bit bigger than what the pattern states, and that's because I'm using waterproof canvas. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this in half, and then I will take the raw edges to meet that center fold. We've got the double fold hot dog bun, whatever you'd like to call it, and I will take it and insert that zipper end into the center of that fold. And then I'll go ahead and add some clips to this, and I'll take it to the machine, and I will sew against the edge right here along that zipper, add an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I'll do that for both sides of my zipper. All right, so like I said, I'm just gonna go to the machine and I'm going to sew this bottom edge at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on both sides. All right, so my main zipper is now completed. I'm gonna set this to the side and I'm gonna start working on my lining piece. So that's gonna be with the zipper overlay. So I'm gonna grab the zipper overlay, my zipper. I'll grab my lining piece, my one lining piece, not both of them, just one lining. Actually, I'm just kidding. So since I'm going to be doing the zipper overlay, I'm grabbing my lining piece, just one. I don't think it matters which lining piece you use. And then I've got my zipper overlay, and then I don't want to forget my woven tag to go underneath that. I have placed double-sided tape on the back. I do like to add stabilizer to my overlays to keep them from stretching. I've already marked the center at the top and the center at the top of my zipper overlay. So I'm taking the measurements given in the pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and place this right in the center, and then tape this down, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got the zipper overlay attached to one of my lining pieces. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm going to grab some scissors and go ahead and snip right here into this fold in the center. And what you want to do now is go ahead and cut all around this overlay here. We want to create a hole so that we can put our zipper in. You want to be really careful with this. You don't want to accidentally cut your vinyl. You don't want to cut your woven tag if you are using one. So just take your time. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Before I move any further, I need to sew the box down around the edges here. I'm jumping the gun, guys. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew this box only on the edges, not the inside box, but only the exterior edges of that zipper overlay. So at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So let's do that first before we start cutting this out. All right, guys. All right, it's sewn down. Okay, back to what I was doing here. All right, like I was saying, you just don't want to cut any part of your woven label and you don't want to cut your overlay. So just be really careful with that. Now that I've cut it all the way through the opening, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting it from the back, and you want to get as close as you can to the stitches without getting any stitches, but you want to also leave just a little bit of fabric, you know, on the zipper overlay on the back. All right, so I prefer to place my zipper pull on after I have sewn on the zipper to both sides of my lining panels. I like to make sure I've got the right side up. I like to have my material right side up, and then I'll grab my zipper and place it so that that is also right side up at the raw edges at the top of my lining. I'll go ahead and clip that in place, and then I'm going to sew this down at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is my favorite way to do a zippered pocket. I saw Lauren Mormino do this, and I haven't stopped making it this way. It's the easiest method, I think. So thanks, Lauren, for that. I'm going to go ahead and set this other lining to the side just for a moment, and also my zipper pull. And like I said, I'm going to go to the machine and I'm just going to sew that zipper onto the lining piece at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, so I have sewn on that zipper to the lining. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it so that I'm looking at the wrong side of my zipper, and I'm just going to fold this seam down, and then I will top stitch at 1/8 of an inch right along that seam here. All right, so now the seam is laying flat. So this is the front. I know it's hard to see because it's black, but this is the front. And then this is the back side of your lining. So that way, whenever you open up your zipper, it's the right side on the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side by grabbing my other lining and making sure it is right side up. And then I'll go ahead and lay it right side up and lay it so that the zipper is right side up and that these are now right sides together. And I'll do that same thing. I'll line up my edges, clip the top, and then I'll sew this down at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I will open up the seam and sew it flat. And then we'll be done with this part, and we'll go ahead and attach it to our zipper overlay. All right, so the zipper is now attached to our lining panels, and now it's completely flat, okay? So that's the goal here. It makes it super easy. I will go ahead and attach my zipper pull real quick, and then we'll go ahead and attach this to the zipper overlay. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply double-sided tape on both sides of the top of my zipper. All right, so I've got the double-sided tape right there on the edges of my zipper here, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab my lining with my my zipper overlay. Now I do have this wide open, so this is what it should look like. We're looking at the back side of our lining and then the top, the right side of our zipper. So I'm going to lay this down. I like my zipper and my lining to be the same length as my zipper overlay. That just makes sure that we're catching all edges of your lining, and that way nothing's poking out right here on these corners. You don't want that to happen. Otherwise your zipper won't last. So I like to line that up and make sure that the edges of my zipper overlay are matching up with the edges of my lining here. And then I'll center it. And then I will start with the top. Make sure also that you have your zipper orientation in the way that you prefer. I really prefer mine to close to the left and open when pulled to the right. So I'm going to lift this up, and I'm just going to remove the paper from that double-sided tape here. And then I will lay this down, And I like to look at it kind of like this, from this angle, just so I can make sure that it's straight. The zipper is straight, and the zipper is right in the center of the ends of your opening here. All right, so I'll slide the zipper and I'll just move the zipper pull out of the way over here. And now I'm going to go ahead and lift this up and pull the paper from the other side. All right, so make sure you are sewing this with your lining panels. They should be open. I will go ahead and sew around this box at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and I will be moving my zipper pull as I go. You don't want to sew around the curve. You want it to be straight, so make sure you're moving the zipper pull as you go. You also don't want to hit that with your needle. All right, so the zipper, everything is attached now. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over, and we're going to sew the sides of our lining panels. We will not be sewing the bottom because we're going to be pulling the bag through the bottom of this lining here. So I'm just folding this down. I will grab some clips and clip the side, and I'll just go ahead and sew down the bottom sides for now. Also, I just want to mention that Lauren does have full step-by-step tutorials on the Lauren bag. So if you would like a step-by-step video, you can check her out. So I'll go ahead and get this sewn down here. All right, so my lining here is done. We've got the opening at the bottom. I forgot to mention that I do prefer to fold down those bottom edges here and sew at a curve right at the end here. This does help whenever you're closing up the pocket to lay nicely at the end. All right, so we are done with the lining with the zipper panel. So I'll go ahead and set this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and grab my base, and then I will grab one of my exterior pieces. This is also the time where you can add purse feet if you would like. I will not be adding any purse feet to mine. So I've got this panel here, and I'm going to take my base and I'm going to line this up right along those edges at the bottom, and they should match right up. And then we will go ahead and sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And you don't want to sew through your stabilizer. You want to sew right along the side of it, just not on top of it. So let's go ahead and sew this down, and we will not be attaching the other side of the base to the exterior until later on. All right, so this has been sewn on. We're going to go ahead and flip this base so that the seam is behind the base here. And you can top stitch this if you would like. Totally up to you. You don't have to, but I will be top stitching it. However, keep in mind that when we do top stitch the other side, well, if you top stitch this side, you'll want to top stitch the other side, but it will be a little bit challenging to top stitch the other side. So just keep that in mind. But I'll go ahead and get this top stitched real quick. All right, so now we're moving on. We're going to start putting our bag together. So I'm grabbing my main zipper. I'm grabbing the lining that has the longer bottom, and then I'm going to have the exterior with that long bottom where we've already attached the base here. I have my centers marked, and I have my centers marked also on my zipper. So I'm going to go ahead and take my zipper and lay it face down. And I also want my zipper to open when pulled to the right and closing when pulled to the left. So I want to make sure to have it in the right orientation. I'm going to go ahead and move my rectangle rings down, and I will go ahead and clip this together. You can use double-sided tape if you want to. You can baste this down if you want to. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and just sew it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and clip my top raw edges really quick. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab my lining piece. And again, so we have our exterior right side up, our zipper is right side down on the exterior, And then you want to have your lining right sides down. And this should be the same size. Your lining should be the same size as your exterior. So I'm just going to go ahead and combine my clips at this top raw edge. Okay, so right now I have my sandwich here. We've got my lining and exterior there, right sides together. Your zipper is sandwiched between the exterior and the lining. I'm going to go ahead and I want to make sure that my rectangle rings are out of the way. They shouldn't be up, just in case. You shouldn't hit it, but you know, you just never know. So I'll move it out of the way, and then you want to move your zipper. Make sure you move your zipper as you're sewing, and you want to sew this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so we have our lining and exterior and the zipper sewn together. I'm going to pull my lining back, and since this is, I think this is water resistant canvas. I got this from Mormino.com. Also, I got this vinyl from Mormino.com. I will try to link it down below. It's one of her new releases, I think. It's so pretty. It is very nice to work with. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the seam and I'm going to fold it so it's behind the exterior. Okay, and then we're going to top stitch along the exterior. We're only going to top stitch the exterior and the zipper. So you want to have, and the, you know, the seam is going to be behind this exterior, and we're going to leave our lining up and out of the way. So just make sure that seam is behind your exterior. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and top stitch this. And then we'll attach the other side of our lining. All right, so the zipper is now completed on the front panel. On the front lining, we're going to go ahead and grab our exterior for the other side and then your lining. And what we'll do is I'll put my lining aside for just a moment. And we're going to take our exterior, put my rectangle rings down. And we're going to place this so it's right sides together. So you'll match up those center marks, or you can line up your edges and make sure everything lines up. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other side. I'm going to go ahead and clip the top edges together, and then I will go ahead and grab my lining and attach that on the other side. So the other side, you'll have your lining pieces right sides together. So your lining should be right side together, your exterior should be right sides together. And we'll sew on that zipper at the same seam allowance that we did on the other side. All right, so our other lining and exterior has now been attached. So I'm going to do that same thing with my lining, and I'm just going to fold it back. And then we'll open this up, and we're going to place that seam behind the exterior again and leave that lining on the opposite side. And we'll go ahead and top stitch this down. This looks so good, I love it. I should have done, I didn't think about it until after, but I should have done like a black bottom and maybe, I don't know, maybe just the black bottom. But I love this vinyl with the black hardware. It looks really good. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach our base to the other side of our exterior bottom. Okay, so, and again, they should match up pretty perfectly. We'll go ahead and clip the bottom edges, and then we will sew that down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And make sure you have your lining out of the way. You don't want to accidentally sew that into your bottom. And again, just make sure you're not sewing on top of your stabilizer. You want to sew right beside your stabilizer. All right, so the base is now sewn on the other side. So now what you want to do is reach in, because I top stitched the base on the other side. So you have to top stitch the base on this side. So you're going to open up your zipper, Okay, we're actually going to top stitch this through this opening here. That's why earlier I was saying this could be a little bit of a challenge, but you can do it. You just have to be really careful. If you happen to do the 90-degree angle zipper, this would be easier for you because you can just unzip and the whole thing will open up for you. But since I did zipper tabs on both sides, this is how we got to do it. So again, I will be top stitching very carefully through the opening of our lining, okay? So just take your time and you got this. So let's go ahead and get that bottom top stitch. So be careful that you are not top stitching down anything. You know, make sure your lining is out of the way, all that good stuff. Make sure your zipper pocket is out of the way so we're not accidentally top stitching or closing up anything. All right, so everything is together. So now we're going to go ahead and put our bag together. So what we're going to do is we're going to start connecting our seams down up here. I'll clip those edges together. And then I'll go to the other side and start with this side seam. You want to keep your exterior together, right sides together, and your lining together, right sides together. Your zipper should be open in the center, that way you don't hit your zipper. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start clipping down the sides of my exterior and my lining. I like to make sure that the zipper tabs are going under, so they should be facing the lining. I don't know if I can show you on this camera. This is my lining side and my zipper tabs are on this side. They're not up on the exterior side. I hope that makes sense. So you want to have that going toward your lining. Okay, so I've got the sides all clipped and I'm going to go ahead and start sewing the sides. The lining bottom, I have left that for right now. So we'll go ahead and sew down our sides and then we'll start boxing the bottom of the exterior. And you'll sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. So I've got my sides sewn together. We are going to reach in through that zipper. We're going to box our corners down here on the exterior. You want to butterfly those seams open. And it should fall right into place. Oh yeah, it falls right into place naturally. And then I'm going to clip that. And then what we're going to do is we're only sewing from this stitch line to the other stitch line. We're not going from edge to edge. So zip from the stitch line to stitch line. And I just noticed that I completely top stitched my base with, they're on opposite sides here. It's too late to fix that. You've already got holes all in here, so I'm just going to leave it be. It will be fine. Again, from stitch line to stitch line, from stitch line to stitch line at the seam allowance given in the pattern. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll do that on the other side as well. All right, so we've got those box corners done. You can go and trim just the center here. You can leave these edges where they are, but just the center. And also, I forgot, we're going to trim down where the zipper is in the main panel as well. So again, we're just trimming down from just the center of this. And I did do 2 rows of stitching just to relieve pressure. All right, so now I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to trim down right there where that bulk is, just that area. All right, so now it's time to work on the lining. Now, since I have this vinyl and I've got Decaville and all that good stuff on here, I'm actually gonna pull the bag through my lining bottom and not through the zipper. I think that would just be easier to do. For me, if you're using something that is a lighter material, you can absolutely pull it through the pocket if you like to. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn this right side out really quick. All right, so I've got this turned out. It is definitely wrinkled, so I'll have to get the hair dryer out to fix that. I'm gonna go through my zipper pocket lining and grab the exterior, not exterior, but my lining through that pocket. So this is gonna feel probably a little awkward, but you just need to pull the bottom of your lining through your pocket so we can close that up. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and grab the bottom of your lining and we are going to clip those edges together. And then we're going to sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And then we'll end up boxing those corners. So we're almost done. We'll box the corners and then we will go ahead and check our bag, make sure you're happy with it before we close up our lining zipper pocket. Okay. The bottom is now sewn together. So now we will go ahead and I feel terrible that I chose black inside because you can't see what I'm doing since it is dark. So we've got our sewn edge over here. So this is where we will do our square bottom and you'll go ahead and open up that seam from the side seams and we'll go ahead and clip that edge together. So it should, can you see that? It should look like a boxed edge here. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip that down and we'll do the same thing on the other side and we'll sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, everything looks good. Even though I messed up down at the bottom, you really can't tell unless, probably since you're a bag maker, you would probably notice, but it really isn't that big a deal. It still sits up perfectly fine, so I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I can't go back and fix that since there will be holes and it's fine. It looks great anyways. All right, so I'm just getting my lining bottom together and we'll go ahead and close this up. All right, so this looks so good. I love it so much. I just need to attach our straps now. I will be adding rivets to mine, so I'll add the rivets off camera, but to show you real quick how you would do this, I would start on one side and enter through that square ring and come up, and I would do it about there, maybe about an inch or so. It's totally up to you on what you want to do, but I want the raw edge to be facing the bag, not facing the exterior of the bag here. You don't want it facing on this side. So, okay, and then I'll go and make marks and cut holes and add a rivet. And you want to be careful. You don't want to twist these handles, so make sure that you have the handle straight and that you are coming up on the other side, and you'll fold that over And you want to make sure that you've got them about the same. So I will be measuring just to keep it as accurate as possible. And I'll put a clip here. And then make sure that your handles are straight and it looks pretty good. So I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll go ahead and mark my rivet holes and place the holes and put in my rivets, and then we'll be all done with this. Besides having to use the hairdryer and get all those wrinkles out. Easy fix, but everything looks really good. I love this so much. All right, so let's go ahead and finish those handles. You could sew these down instead of adding rivets if you like. It's totally up to you on what you want to do. All right, so this is now completed. I love the way it looks. Well, thank you so much for joining me today as we made the Lauren bag, and I hope you'll continue watching the marathon. I believe, well, I'll have the Linktree listed down below, so I'm not sure who is behind me. And if you've missed anyone from earlier today, make sure to check out the Linktree. There's the whole schedule from all of the makers who have joined in on the Marathon Society to make the Lauren bag. And thank you so much to Lauren for allowing us to use your pattern in today's videos for the marathon. And thank you again for watching and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If at any point you like this video, I hope you'll give it a like and also subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed already. Again, I greatly appreciate your support. And oh, and I'll have the link to the pattern also linked down below. So you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again in the next video.